Hello friends, welcome to National Resource Center Mizoram University on educational research. We will discuss in this module formulating research questions, objectives and hypothesis. These are the three important things which take a very important things in the research. The research question is from the very beginning of time, man has been curious about the environment. He was curious to know the miseries of the natures of natural phenomena, day and night, rain, thunder, lightning and also the questions relating to the difficulties that he was facing. Today we have many problems which are more complex. Try to find out why, how and what aspect of the problems and try to solve the problems. We questions why there is a global warming, what will be the consequence, how we can combat such situations, and like this we have many questions relating to many phenomena in all fields and they comprise the initial step in research. Friends, many questions can be asked about educational theories and practices. We may ask, what is the present status of performance? What are the effects of specific practices, innovation and policies? How do historical events, new policies influence current educational issues? How to teach different subjects at a different level, that is which method will be more promising? How to have better planning for better results? How can we provide better opportunities? How can we discriminate and the like? We may also ask, the answer to all such questions require investigation, data collection, data analysis and drawing conclusion. Those questions are the problems, research questions are the research problems. Simply the questions are the problems and the research questions are the research problems. And when research problems are formulated in different ways, may be in statement form or in question form. The objective or the purpose of research, when stated, they are stated to answer the broad and specific questions. The research questions focuses and provides structure for the remaining steps in the scientific and discipline inquiry method. It is thread that binds everything else of the research together. Some questions, although important to an individual or a group, may not connote research problems in themselves, but in the process of asking such questions, however, a researchable problem may emerge. A research problem may be phrased as questions or hypotheses, such as what are the attitudes of parents towards schools promotion policy. For an example, you have to write what is the status of the midday meal program launched in primary schools of Mizoram. The research question focuses and provides structure for the remaining steps in the scientific and discipline inquiry method. It is thread that binds everything else of the research together. Some questions, although important to an individual or a group, may not connote research problem in themselves, but in the process of asking such questions, however, a researchable problem may emerge. Research problem may be phrased as questions or hypotheses, such as what are the attitudes of parents towards school promotion policy. Then come to the types of research questions. First is descriptive research questions, second is your relationship research questions, third is your difference research questions, fourth is your statistical questions. So, let us come to the first, the descriptive research questions. Descriptive research questions usually ask what is and imply a survey research design. For example, what is the achievement level of students, what is the perception of, which of the alternatives are preferred by, these are the descriptive research questions. Then come to the relationship research questions. Relationship research questions ask what is the relationship between two or more variables and imply a correlational design. This does not mean that the exact words, what is the relationship between variable A and B or X and Y, always appear in the statement. It may also take other forms such as does A relate to B? Here questions are asked about the type and magnitude of the relationship between criterion and predictor variable. So, come to the third, difference research questions. Typically ask, is there a difference between among two more groups or treatments? They are used when the study compares two or more observations. Suppose there are two observations or more observations, you want to compare it, then you use difference research questions. Sometimes the difference being questioned in a directional form. For an example, is there a greater mastery of reading comprehension on the post test than on the pre-test? Then come to the statistical questions. Research questions are not statistical questions. Some may confuse it that statistical questions and research questions. So, research questions are not statistical questions. Statistical questions are stated in the methodological section of the study of data analysis. For example, is there a significant difference between A and B observations? Is there a significant difference between male class 9 students and female class 9 students? So, these are the statistical questions. Purpose of research questions. Come to the first, is the research questions is formulated in such a manner that the objective are implied. The question suggests the design of the study. Research questions enable the researcher to identify the population, the variable and the logic of the problem. These 3 points are important. Research questions are formulated in such a manner that the objective are implied. The question suggested the design of the study. Research questions enable the researcher to identify the population, the variables and the logic of the problem. Research questions suggest what are required to investigate into the problem, that is tools, type of sample and sample size, techniques of data collections and the statistical techniques to be used for data analysis. Research question also may highlight about the generalizability of the result. The purpose of research questions are to progress and to have good life by understanding different phenomena and the relationship so as to be able to predict. Research questions help in advancement of knowledge and improvement in practice. The research questions suggest that the types of research, whether it may be ethnographic, whether it may be historical, whether it may be descriptive, whether it may be correlational, whether it may be actions, evaluations, causal comparative and experimental research. There is different types of research are there. So, the research questions will be according to the different type of research. Suppose, what is the lifestyle of Zhuang tribe or X tribe? These questions call for ethnographic research, which document and explain social behavior within groups. The research explores behavior holistically. Data sources are people. Here the data sources are people, objects, environment in the context under study. Findings are usually in narrative form, sometimes enhanced by graphic illustrations and photographs. This type of research is non-experimental and largely qualitative and heavily dependent upon investigators' perception and skill in making observation and interpretation. Similarly, what cultural, ethnic and linguistic group made of Bangalore city's population today and what is the relation among them? I am giving this is an example. This question calls for descriptive research, which is done to depict people's situation, events and a condition as they now exist. Descriptive research is a non-experimental and can be either qualitative or it may be quantitative or a combination of the two. So, hypotheses are frequently used in descriptive research. The sources of data collection are physical settings, records, documents, objects, materials and people directly involved. The sources used for Such researches may also be used as additional sources. Findings are presented in narrative forms enhanced by numerical, categorical, graphic illustration. Come to another, I am giving another example. What is the relationship between English vocabulary proficiency and school achievement among students of Y school? These questions call for correlational research, which explores the nature and the degree of relationship between two or more variables. The relationship between two or more variables is known as correlational research. In correlational research, data are obtained from the individual serving as participants in the study. So, friends, correlational research is quantitative and non-experimental, may strongly suggest cause-effect relationship and give us valuable ability to predict one of the variable other than others. Come to another example. Can a disciplinary system be designed to improve the work culture of Mizoram University? The question calls for action research, which is done to improve conditions within a particular setting without concern for applying the findings elsewhere. The research might be undertaken to identify the specific problems, formulate possible solutions, apply those solutions and evaluate the result, keeping the records by one of the employees. Again, come to another example. How effective is the midday meal schemes in checking dropouts in Mizoram? This question calls evaluation research, conducted to make judgment about the quality of a particular program, procedures, materials and the like data. Data in such research are obtained from students, teachers, administrators and community members. So, let us come to another example. What is the impact of access of students to internet on their achievement in Mizoram University? This question calls for causal comparative research, which explore the influence of pre-existing condition. Remember it, the pre-existing condition on a variable such as learning. So, I have given this example. What is the impact of access of students to internet on their achievement in Mizoram University? That is a causal comparative research. Another example, can cultural sensitive training improve interpersonal relationship among students of diverse ethnic backgrounds? This question calls for experimental research, which one control group and another is a experimental group. So, now some of the points we will discuss about techniques of developing research questions. What are the techniques of developing research question? First point is common sense. Everyone knows that it is a common sense. I do not want to elaborate it. Then intuitions, beliefs, tenacity, traditions, personal experience, authority, divine and supernatural powers, reasons and logic, scientific methods, authority, experience, custom and traditions, reasoning and experimentations. These are complementary and overlapping. All research questions problems call for the operations of all these means by varying degrees. Developing research question involve the following steps. First, identifying a topic of research. Second, narrowing the topic. Third, starting the research topic. So, first let us come to the first, identifying a topic of research. Research questions are identified initially as general topics. After much preliminary work, the general topic is focused with specific research questions. Then narrowing the topic. After selecting a general topic, the next step is to how to narrow it down to a more specific and researchable topic. Two broad topics are difficult to carry out, unmanageable and difficult to interpret. It is to be narrowed in terms of variables, geographical area, population, so and so on. Then starting a research topic. The statement of research topic varies in form of statement, questions and hypothesis. And specifically according to this type of research, for a quantitative research, a well stated research topic generally indicates the variable of interest to the researcher, the specific relationship between those variables that will be investigated, and ideally the nature of the participants involved. In qualitative research, topics are stated initially in general term and eventually narrowed as more is learned about the research context and its subjects. What are the tips for finding a good research questions? First is, start with a question which has a question mark at the end. Identify a question that will keep you interested throughout the study. Choose a topic which the professional community is already interested in. Find a question what seems feasible within the constraints of available resources. Be aware of grounding your work too strongly in an ideology. Ground your work in one field or one discipline. Distinguish at this stage between research questions and what is that you will research. Don't expect that finding of a good research question is quick, easy or remains fixed throughout your work. Friends, now we will discuss about the criteria for selection of a topic, a research question, problem or topic. Although there are no standard criteria for judging the suitability of a research question which will give guarantee for its suitableness, still the following questions may be asked. Is the topic of interest? Is the topic sufficiently original that it does not involve objectionable duplication? Is the topic amenable to research? Is the problem significant? And is research into the problem is feasible? The research problem statement is crucial because it communicates to others the focus and importance of the problem, the educational context and scope, and the framework for reporting the result. It is not always possible for a researcher to formulate the research problem simply, clearly, concisely, and which will be manageable. Thus, to state a research problem requires a good deal of preliminary work and logic. Friends, according to Curlinger 2017, there are three criteria of a good problems and problem statements. First is, the problem should express a relation between two or more variables. The problem should be stated clearly and unambiguously in question form. Third is, the problem should be such as to imply possibilities of empirical testing. After the problem has been selected, the next task is to define it and state it in a form of amenable to research. According to Monroe and Ellinghatt, to define a problem means to specify it in detail and with precision. Each questions and its subordinate questions to be answered are to be specified. The limit of the investigation must be determined. Frequently, it is necessary to review previous studies in order to determine just what is required to be done. Sometimes it is necessary to formulate the point of view or educational theory on which the investigation is to be based. If certain assumptions are made, they must be explicitly noted. According to Whitney, to define a problem means to put a fence around it, to separate it by a careful distinction from like questions found in related situation of need. While defining the problem, the researcher must explain the background, the theoretical basis and underlying assumptions of the problem. Concrete, specific and workable questions should also be stated in logical order under major divisions. The variables in the study must be specified and defined operationally. While stating a problem, the researcher should not state the problem in so general terms to make it vague, without direction of the study to make it trivial and insignificant. Any well stated problem, the researcher is not kept in suspense, but is told directly and immediately the general focus, the context and the importance of the problem. Besides, the problem should be so stated that it provides a framework for conclusions and reporting. Hilwe has suggested the following rules which will be useful for the researcher in final statement of the problem. First, be sure that topic chosen is neither too vague nor too broad in scope. Second, to make the problem clear and more understandable, state it as a question which requires a definite answers. Carefully state the limits of the problems, eliminating all aspects and factors which will not be considered the study. Define any special terms that must be used in the statement of the problem. Though there is no general agreement whether a problem be presented as a question or in the form of statement, however, question form is preferred. Friends, now we will discuss about evaluation of the problem. Before finalizing the research problem, the investigator must ask a series of questions. Then he gets affirmative answers to all those questions as suggested by best. The problem can be considered to be a good one. Is this type of problems that can be effectively solved through the process of research? Can relevant data to be gathered to test the theory or find the answer to the questions under consideration? Is the problem is significant? Is an important principle involved? What would the solution make a difference as far as theory and practice is concerned? Is the problem a new one? Is the answer already available? Is research on the problem is feasible? The researcher should assess himself on the following points. Am I competent to plan and carry out the study of this type? Do I know enough about this field to understand its significant aspects and interpret my findings? Am I skillful enough to develop, administer and interpret the necessary data gathering devices and procedures? Am I well grounded in the necessary knowledge of research design and statistical procedures? Are pertinent data accessible? Are valid and reliable data gathering devices and procedures available? Will institutional authorities permit me to contact the students, conduct necessary experiments or administer necessary tests, interviews, subjects or have access to important records? Is research on the problem is feasible? The researcher should assess himself on the following points. Will I be able to get the sponsorship necessary to open doors at the otherwise would be closed to me? Will I have the necessary financial resources to carry on this study? Will I have enough time to complete the project? Will I have the courage and the determination to pursue the study in spite of the difficulties and social hazards that may be involved? Is research on the problem is feasible? The researcher should possess himself in the following points. Will it be possible to conduct the study without violating the ethical standards? Can confidentiality and anonymity be guaranteed? Can it be ensured that the study will not be endanger the subject and their families? Can the study hurt the researcher? Is research on the problem is feasible? Can it be ensured that all members of the research team will adhere to ethical standards? Will the study of this topic necessitate any type of unfair dealings, illegal or unethical activity? Can the researcher arouse studies in outside the interest that could harm the participants? Is it likely that ethics approval from the proper authorities will be obtained? After getting affirmative answers to the above questions and the like, the researcher should state the problem and submit the research proposal as per the requirements. Friends, now come to the objective, which is very important in research. Research question may be broad or the objective is specific. After formulating a general broad question, the researcher sets many specific questions to be answered, which are known as objective purpose of the research. There are rather more precise statement of intent. They suggest that the actual activities which the researcher intends to do. The specific objectives are stated into the introduction of the study and suggest the design. In the study, vocational interest of secondary school students with reference to their gender and socio-economic status. The specific objective will be study the difference by gender and income level. General objectives. The general objective of a research project summarize what is to be achieved by the study. The general objective of a study states what a researcher expects to achieve by the study in general terms. They emphasize what is to be accomplished, not how is to be accomplished. They address the long-term research outcomes, that is, they should reflect the aspirations and expectations of the research topic. They need not be numbered. Specific objectives. It is desirable to break down a general objective into a smaller, logically concentrated parts. There are referred to as specific objectives. Specific objectives are the steps you are going to take to answer your research questions or a specific list of tasks needed to accomplish the goals of the research. They emphasize how aims are to be accomplished. They must be highly focused and feasible. They should address the more immediate research outcomes. They should make accurate use of concepts and sensible and precisely stated. They are usually numbered so that each objective read as an individual statement to convey the intentions. Be presented concisely and briefly. Be interrelated. Be realistic about what researcher can accomplish in the duration of the research work. Provide the researcher with indicators of how he intends to approach the literature and theoretical issue related to the research. Intends to access his question, subject, respondents, units, goods or services, and develop a sampling frame and strategy of rationale in their selection. Will develop a strategy and design for data collection and analysis. Will deal with ethical and practical problem in his research. The general objective and specific objective should not be too vague, ambitious or broad in scope. Just repeat each other in different terms. Just be a list of things related to the research topic. Spend time discussing details of the job, resources, sites. Contradict methods, that is, they should not imply methodological goals or standards of measurement, proof or generalizability of findings that the methods cannot sustain. Why should research objective be developed? First point, to focus the study, that is narrowing down essentials, to avoid the collection of unnecessary data, to organize the study in clearly defined parts in all phases. How to state the objectives? Objectives are to be stated to cover the different aspects of the original research questions and its contributing factors in a coherent way and a logical sequence. In a clearly phrased operational term, specifying exactly what is to be done, where and for what purpose. In a realistic way, considering local conditions, using action verbs to determine, to compare, to verify, to calculate, to describe and to establish, that are the specific enough to be evaluated. The kind of verb which are often used at the beginning of aims are very useful throughout the research. Some commonly used verbs are to discuss an idea, to examine a proposal, to analyze some data, to synthesize its meanings is several ideas or propositions, to explore means an issue, to study means effect of, to reflect on a theoretical model, to investigate means cause and effect, to propose means a possible explanation, to systematize some initial data, to test, and these are the some of the action verbs. Friends, now come to the hypothesis. As you know, hypothesis is a tentative guess. The two words consist of this hypo and thesis. Hypo means tentative or subject to verification. Thesis means statement about solution of the problem. Thus, the literal meaning of the term hypothesis is a tentative statement about the solution of the problem subject to verification, empirically and rationally. J. S. Mill has defined any supposition which we make in order to endeavor to deduce conclusions in accordance with fact which are known to be real under the idea that if the conclusion to which the hypothesis leads are known truths, the hypothesis itself either must be or at least likely to be true. Nature of hypothesis. According to Molle, hypotheses provide direction to research and prevent the review of irrelevant literature and the collection of useless or excess data. Hypotheses sensitize the investigator to certain aspects of the situation which are relevant from the standpoint of the problem at hand. In general, hypothesis spells the difference between precision and haphazardness, between fruitful and fruitless research. Hypotheses are not end in themselves, friends. It rather are the means by which investigator can understand with greater clarity his problems and its ramifications, as well as the data which bear on it. Friends, you know, they enable a researcher to clarify the procedure and methods to be used in solving his problem and to rule out methods which are incapable of providing the data necessary to test the hypothesis posited. Hypothesis act as a framework for the conclusion. Hypothesis is an indispensable research instrument, for it builds a bridge between the problem and the location of empirical evidence that may solve the problem. It provides the map that guides the expedites the explorations of the phenomena under consideration. It pinpoints the problem. The investigator can examine thoroughly the factual and conceptual elements that appear to be related to the problem. It determines the relevancy of facts. A hypothesis directs the researcher efforts into a productive channel. It indicates not only what to look for in an investigation, but how to obtain data. It helps in deciding research design. It may suggest what subjects, tests, tools and techniques are needed. It provides the investigator with most efficient instrument for exploring and explaining the unknown facts. It provides a framework for drawing conclusion. It stimulates investigator for further research. Now come to the types of hypothesis. Forms of hypothesis. Hypothesis may be stated in question form, declarative form, statement form, rational form, relational form, directional form and non-directional forms. Then types of hypothesis is L.R. Gay has defined. Hypothesis can be classified in terms of how they are derived, that is inductive hypothesis and deductive hypothesis, or how they are stated, that is declarative or null. An inductive hypothesis is a generalization based on observed relationship. Then deductive hypothesis is derived from theory. While deriving hypothesis from theory, one should be sure that his hypothesis is a logical implication of theory and not a wild, unsupported inferential leap. Directional and non-directional hypotheses are formulated in research hypothesis or declarative hypothesis, in which relationship or a difference between two variables are stated. The null hypothesis is the hypothesis of choice when there is a little search or theoretical support for a hypothesis. Research hypothesis, it is predicted outcome based on theory or understanding, which is often stated A is independent variable, then B is dependent variable. Sometimes it appears as a statement or claim or as a question. It is the researcher's best guess about the outcome of the research study. Such hypotheses are some more than vague hunches and are precisely stated out the expected outcomes. Alternative hypothesis. It is sometimes called rival hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is a rival explanation for the research results. It is an explanation alternative to that suggested by the research hypothesis and often explains a way the findings. Such hypotheses are developed or conceptualized by researchers only to be eliminated. Then come to null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is a statistical hypothesis ascertaining that there is no relationship among variable being studied in the populations. It counters the research hypothesis. The researcher collect data from a sample and believe that a pattern exists in the sample that might generalize to the population. The researcher usually believes the opposite of the null hypothesis. Then now we will discuss what are the criteria of a good hypothesis. The relative merits of a given hypothesis can be judged only by its effectiveness in the particular problem under investigation, and its final validity cannot be appraised except through empirical test. However, the general criteria can be applied to judge the characteristics. First, a good hypothesis must be based directly on existing data. It might even be expected or anticipate previously unknown fact. A good hypothesis must explain existing data in simple terms than any competing hypothesis. A good hypothesis must be stated as simply or concisely as the complexity of the concept involved will allow. A good hypothesis must above all be testable. Then come to L.R. Gay has defined 4 characteristics. It is based on sound reasoning. It provides a reasonable explanation for the predicted outcome. It clearly states the expected relationship between defined variables. It is testable within a reasonable time frame. Travers has suggested 7 criteria. Its good hypothesis should confirm, clearly and precisely stated, testable, stating the expected relationship between variables, limited in scope, consistent with most known facts, stated in simple terms, amenable to testing with a reasonable time. And what are the sources of deriving hypothesis? The task of deriving adequate hypothesis is essentially parallel to that of selecting suitable problem. Just as there is no royal road to the location of a suitable problem, there is no royal road to the discovery of fruitful hypothesis. The qualities required for developing hypothesis are reasoning, both inductive and deductive, personal experience and keen observation, creative visualization, critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, persistency and alert mind. The researcher will face some problems while formulating hypothesis. Let us discuss it. There are a number of difficulties from which a beginner may suffer at the stage of formulating a good hypothesis. Lack of knowledge and clarity of theoretical framework of the area in which investigator chooses to work, lack of ability to make use the theoretical framework logically, lack of acquaintance with research technique resulting in failure to be able to phrase the hypothesis properly, vagueness of the statement. Then approaches to hypothesis testing. The proof of the worth of a hypothesis lies in its ability to meet the test of validity. Validity is established in 2 stages. The statement of the hypothesis allows the investigator to develop deductively or logically certain implications which, when stated in operational terms, can lead to the rejections of hypotheses that are in conflict with accepted and established knowledge. If a hypothesis passes the test of logic, it may be subject to an empirical test through experiments, measurements. The researcher selects the sample, measuring instrument, design and procedures that will enable her him to collect the data necessary to test the hypothesis. Collected data are analyzed in a manner that permits the researcher to determine whether the hypothesis is supported. A hypothesis is never proved, it is merely sustained or rejected. Data may support or may not support the hypothesis for the particular participants, context and instrument involved. Now, relationship between research question and hypothesis. Friends, the deviation of research hypothesis goes hand in hand with the selection of research questions. Hypotheses are tentative generalization about the problem under investigations. Those are assumptions or propositions or intelligent guesses whose tentability is to be tested empirically. Hypotheses provide framework for the investigation of the research questions. Aimless collection of data is not likely to be lead anywhere. Since a multitude of possible relationships can exist among phenomena, generalizations and relationships significant from the standpoint of a given problem do not just emerge from data. Hypotheses are important for any research questions to be investigated since they provide direction to research, sensitize the investigator, provide means, that is the method to be followed, and provide the framework to draw conclusion. Let us discuss with examples. Suppose the research area is total quality management. Select aspect of the area is total quality management. Impact of total quality management on employees of a definite system or organization. Then let us come to the research questions. What is the impact of total quality management in job satisfaction of the workers, employees or teachers, etc.? This is one research question. Second, does the effect of total quality management on job satisfaction of workers, employees, teachers, etc. vary by level in the organization? This is the second research question. Does the effect of total quality management on job satisfaction of workers vary by their gender? Does the effect of total quality management on job satisfaction of workers vary by their age? Do the workers appreciate or resist total quality management? What is the impact of total quality management on workers, employees or teachers empowerment? Then select some research questions to be addressed. What is the impact, whether it may be positive or negative, of total quality management on job satisfaction of college teachers? Does the effect of total quality management on job satisfaction of college teachers vary by their gender? Does the effect of total quality management on job satisfaction of college teachers vary by their age? Formulate research questions now. Question 4. What is the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of college teachers with reference to their gender and age? This is one question 4. Then let us come to the statement 4. Impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of college teachers with reference to their gender and age. Then come to the objectives. To study the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of male college teachers, this is objective number 1. Objective number 2, to study the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of female college teachers. Objective number 3, to compare the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of male and female college teachers. To study the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of young college teachers, that is objective number 4. Then objective number 5 is to study the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of middle-aged college teachers. Objective number 6, to study the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of aged college teachers. To compare the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of young, middle-aged and aged college teachers. Friends, now come to the hypothesis. Total quality management has significant impact on the job satisfaction of male college teachers. Second is, total quality management has significant impact on the job satisfaction of female college teachers. There exists a significant difference in the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction of male and female college teachers. Fourth, the total quality management has significant impact on the job satisfaction of young college teachers. Fifth, total quality management has significant impact on the job satisfaction of middle-aged college teachers. Similarly, total quality management has a significant impact on the job satisfaction of aged college teachers. There exists significant difference in the impact of total quality management on the job satisfaction among young, middle-aged and aged college teachers. Friends, in this module you know how to define research questions, how to frame research questions, how to frame research objectives and how to frame research hypothesis. All these tricks I have given the examples of all these three. So now you are able to frame all the three research questions, research hypothesis and research objectives. Thank you very much.